Libra, welcome to your weekly tarot reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Libra, sun, moon, and rising positions for the week ahead. Keeping in mind that these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements because you could have messages there. And if you're looking for a personal reading, have a look at the description below because I am extending my offer from the month of May for the whole summer. So if you've been looking for a reading, it's a good time to get one, my friends. All right, let's get started here for Libra. What is the current energy around Libra? Oh, that was the Tower. That's interesting. Okay, so Tower in reverse is your current energy, which says that there could be some major changes happening around you, trying to reveal things to you, and you might be in resistance of that, Libra. You might not be going along with these changes. They may be changes to some certain structures that you're not comfortable right now looking at any change around those things. Let's see what the obstacle is. The Five of Pentacles, but it's in reverse. So the Five of Pentacles in reverse is a time where we can really turn our losses around, and anything that may have felt like a setback in the material world has the opportunity to turn around when we see the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So although these changes right now happening in your life seem to be, maybe, you know, you're sort of thinking to yourself things like, wow, nothing's stable, nothing is working out. It almost feels like all of the things that aren't working out are trying to shift everything else, and that the overarching feeling may be loss and setback, but it's actually trying to tear down things that no longer serve you. And you might be trying to preserve these things. You might be actively hanging on to them because you think to yourself, well, if I don't, then I'm at a loss. But actually, it's, you know, it sounds funny, but you almost need to be at a loss right now, because I think the things you're trying to hang on to need to go. From what I'm seeing, they're not serving you. So that's very interesting start to your reading. Let's see what the conscious mind is focused on. Closure. So resistance of closure. See, that's in reverse. So again, we're seeing a theme here where Libra may not be allowing things to come into closure because there's a fear of loss or setback. And there may be fears surrounding the idea of security, stability, identity, your belonging to certain groups, could be family, could be money, could be a lot of things. But it feels like there's this fear of loss. So you have to fill in the blanks for you where that loss really feels the most vulnerable for you. And sort of looking at where you need to let things go, like where you need to actually surrender, even if you're scared of loss, where you need to surrender and bring in closure to certain things. Let's see what's driving this reading. What is driving this reading right now? Oh, the Seven of Swords in reverse. So being in denial. Being in denial is driving this resistance. So the resistance you're experiencing when it comes to accepting certain things going away from your life, like structures coming down, truth coming in to blow these structures out of the water because they don't serve you, bringing things into closure so that you can sort of start anew, though there seems to be some denial around that, some you know, denying to yourself that these things need to come into closure. And that the idea of loss could actually be a reversal of that. Like you could turn things around by allowing these structures to come into closure, these foundations that no longer serve you to be recreated, to be destroyed and rebirthed, you know. Destruction and rebirth is really what's at the heart of your reading here. Bottom of the deck, we're seeing the Four of Swords in reverse, which is sort of a moment where we need to recover from certain things, and we need to come into acceptance and recovery. So very interesting. Let's see what the past influences are here for Libra. Seven of Pentacles in reverse, which is sort of a time of making decisions but being hesitant about them. So there may have been a decision you made in the past, Libra, that now you're sort of thinking to yourself, oh man, should I have made that decision in the past? And you may be in a place right now where you have the opportunity to do something about that past decision, to let it transform, to bring it into closure, to see the truth in this decision that was made in the past, and to see that being in denial about how this made you feel or makes you feel today is very different than it was in the past. And that feels like something that may be sort of at the heart of what is trying to transform through that Tower card and the World card in reverse. The bottom of the deck, we see the Emperor in reverse, which tells me that this is a time where you're maybe having a hard time trusting yourself because of past decisions. And that makes me feel like the first thing you need to do is forgive yourself. Because I think that sometimes we hold resentments about situations, but really what's at the heart of it is that we're annoyed or upset with ourselves for putting ourselves in this position in the first place. And so sometimes self-forgiveness is the first step in realizing that certain things need to be shut down and brought into closure. Let's see what the upcoming energy is here for Libra. Look at that. Lovers in reverse, Page of Swords in reverse, and the Knight of Cups. Wow. So Libra, you know, that makes me feel like upcoming energy for you is going to have to be, you can't just be all talk, no action. Okay. And I don't mean to get too in your face about this, but the cards are saying that, right? Like the Page of Swords in reverse is a time of being all talk, no action. Seeing the Lovers in reverse tells me that there are choices that you need to make to be in alignment with your highest good, and you've been talking about them, but you haven't been taking any of the actions. And then we see the Knight of Cups. That's all about movement. The Knights are all about movement. The pages are all about messages. So you've been getting this message, you've been talking about this message, but you haven't been taking the actions in association with this. And I think it's, again, because of the you know, you're resisting the action that comes with change here. I think you're trying to preserve a status quo, even though you know and talk about it not being in alignment with you. And there's this Knight of Cups that's saying, well, why don't we do what we think we feel is right? Like, why aren't we pursuing what does feel right to us? And why don't we move in that direction? Instead of being all talk, no action, let's get some action involved here. So it's very interesting, Libra. Look at that, 10 of Cups on the bottom of the deck, but look what's behind it is the 10 of Swords. Isn't that interesting? You gotta love tarot for that. This is intriguing on the bottom of the deck. This tells me that your greatest happiness will come out of this great ending. There's a great ending that will lead to your greatest happiness. I mean, right? It's so interesting. Okay, let's see here. How does Libra see themselves right now? Page of Rods. So you know self-discovery is necessary. 4 of Pentacles, but you're hanging on to the status quo for dear life. I think you just fear change right now, Libra. You fear disturbing things because I think you feel so like you're not sure that you can trust yourself to make any sort of decisions about closure, because you made decisions in the past that you haven't quite forgiven yourself for, or you blame yourself for past decisions. You blame this situation on past choices, and you're like, well, what if I make a choice now when there's more on the line? I'm getting that feeling from this 5 of Pentacles where there's more on the line to lose. So I'm not going to let go. And even though within yourself you're getting this message from the Page of Wands that it's time to rediscover ourselves in a new situation. And that's why the Tower's trying to clear out what's going on that's stagnating. And the World card in reverse is guiding you to bring things into closure so that you can understand yourself sort of in an integrated way that brings in new self-discovery. And so I just can't stop thinking about those 10s that you saw. There's the 10 of Swords back on the bottom of the deck, reminding you that there's an ending that needs to take place here. Something has to end, Libra. Leave me a comment. Let me know what it is if you want. I would love to know. What is the outer reflection. How does Libra show up? Okay, so we're seeing the Four of Wands as how Libra is showing up to the rest, you know, outwardly expressing themselves. Four of Wands in reverse is an interesting card that usually guides me to say, are you being grateful for the things in your life that are trying to transform? Because the Four of Wands, when you look at it upright, doesn't it look like a finish line? It looks like you're going to cross a finish line. In some other decks, you see two people standing right here celebrating, and they're holding bouquets of flowers. Some people see it as a marriage card. I don't not see it as a marriage card, but I also see it as a time of crossing into a new phase, right? Where you're crossing a finish line into something new, and it's full of inner rewards and feelings that you've accomplished it and you've made it. When this card's in reverse, it can be often a signal that we need to be grateful for these finish lines. And that by crossing this finish line, it's not about fear, it's about movement towards something that will cause an inner shift. And so it's almost like seeing the Four of Wands in reverse to me is a message to say, be grateful that nothing is stagnant forever. Be grateful that change is the only constant. Be grateful for change. Be grateful for finish lines, because there's something that needs to get finished here. Really, you know, and it's, I think you've been aware of it for some time. Let's see what the hopes and fears are around this for Libra. Movement. Yeah. The hope is movement. I think you want to move away from something, and yet you're also terrified of that. You're terrified of the movement, but you're wanting the movement all the same. And so, which is it going to be? This is that all talk, no action sort of thing, right? Where you've been talking about it, about moving on, about accepting these changes, about stepping out of the denial to see that something's no longer serving you, no matter how many ways you slice it, it's not serving you. And the movement is what you are hoping for, but it's also the thing that you're afraid of. Because it's movement, it's change. Change is good here. Change is always good. Change is always good because it allows us to step into new things. But in this case, I think there's a lot of fear around change because of something in the material world. That's why it feels like it could be money, family, health, a sense of security, stability, your sense of belonging, could be a relationship, could be, you know, this idea that whatever you're doing right now, you made that choice in the past, and it's almost like there's a part of you saying, well, I made my bed, I've got to sleep in it. And it's like, no, you don't. You can change the bed. You can move the bed, right? The bed can be changed. You don't have to, just because you made a decision in the past doesn't mean that's it. It's a life sentence, you know? Really interesting. Let's see what the outcome is here, Libra. Three of Pentacles in reverse. So that tells me that there is a foundational change that needs to be made here. And there's a part of you that doesn't necessarily want anybody with them in this. This is something that it feels like the Three of Pentacles in reverse tells me that you don't want to play with others. You don't want, you want to figure this out almost on your own, and you don't want anyone else involved. It's almost this idea of like, if I want it done right, I got to do it myself. And there's this need maybe to listen to others instead of just pushing your agenda. And there's a lot of ego clashes around you. So that might be why this needs to change, because you can't help but push your own agenda right now, because there's a huge ego clash going on with you and others. Now, again, this is directly related to what we're seeing. So you and someone are having a very difficult time working with each other towards a common goal. And that is showing you, it's trying to teach you that this fundamentally will not work as it is, because both people are just pushing what they desire at the other, and it's like a battle of egos where nothing gets done, nothing gets resolved, nothing gets built, nothing gets transformed. And that's maybe where the stagnation lies, in this dynamic here. And you may have made a choice in the past to work with this person in whatever capacity. They could be a spouse, they could be a colleague, they could be a parent, they could be a child, they could be, you name it. It's a relationship where it's going like this. And there's no movement. Movement's necessary, change is necessary, rebirth is necessary, seeing this Page of Cups on the bottom of the deck, which says that this needs to be transformed fundamentally in order for it to move forward. It's very interesting, Libra. Look at that. You can't make this stuff up. Soulmates and higher power as I cut the deck. So this is one heck of a contract trying to teach you something in this lifetime, Libra. And I think it's trying to teach you to let go. Not all soul contracts or soulmates, that's a very Hollywood idea that, oh, you're my soulmate, that means we're in this forever. No. A soulmate is a soul contract that is made for teaching us stuff. And not all of them last. Sometimes they come in to teach, to destroy, and to rebuild, and then they're done. That's it. Contract fulfilled. You're going to have to look at this, because seeing the higher power card tells me that this is a learning experience for you. This is a very intense soul contract trying to teach you a lesson about yourself and about accepting change, honestly, from what I see here. Let's see, what is the highest guidance for Libra to close this reading? I love this reading. It was so interesting. Treasure Island. You got to pursue your joy here, Libra. Treasure Island is movement. Treasure Island, this card carries this wonderful signature of sort of moving towards abundance, prosperity, fulfillment. You know, it's a very interesting card to receive in this reading for you, because it's guiding you towards that law of attraction that says that what we focus on comes into fruition, that what we sort of imagine as being what we're worth or what we think we deserve is what we get. That law of attraction is always working no matter what. So if you're resisting all these giant changes that I see here and moving towards something, even though you know it's out of alignment with you, and yet you're talking about movement and you're saying the things that need to be done, but you're not taking those actions. It's very interesting to consider the law of attraction and how it's working on your situation right now, because whatever you believe is what you deserve is what you're going to see show up. That's what the law of attraction sort of suggests to us, right? So with respect to relationships, seeing this card says, no matter how long you've been together and no matter how long you've sort of been in this commitment, if your heart has closed, then that's trying to teach you something. If you feel like it's not enough, and that there's just too much pushing on either side for this to be in balance, then we must accept the transformation that is trying to free you from this. I'm going to leave it at that. What a very interesting reading. I'm sending you so much love, light, and encouragement, and I just want to show you the bottom of the deck is not for you. I just wanted to point that out. Something here is no longer for you, Libra. I'm going to leave it there. Okay. I love you. I'm sending you so much love and encouragement, and I look forward to reading for you again soon. Take care.